Welcome back, Lake listeners. Thank you so much for tuning into the finale of our Season 4 with the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. Today on the show, we have two outstanding team members from the O'Sullivan Bruce Group, a team who produced over $85 million in sales for 2021. These two ladies are both rock stars at what they do, and here to shed some light on a great topic are two of my really great friends, Miss Kelsey Fairchild and Blair Ziegler. Ziegler?
Yep, you got it.
Kelsey and Blair, thank you so much for being here. I'm so pumped to talk about you both and this topic that's one of my very favorites.
We're very
I'm
excited to be here.
My first podcast, actually,
I
so this is new.
I'm looking at the camera, but I've got the face for radio.
You do. Both of you guys. So, girls, I wanted to start the show with both of you just sharing a little bit more about yourselves and your team and where you kind of found the passion to do what you do. So, Kelsey, let's start with you.
Well, I am from St. Louis, but my family has always had a lake house here that I started. I really spent all my summers down here. And then when I was at Mizzou, I was bartending and serving at little lakefront bars around the lake. And that's where I met Nicole, who is a couple years older than me. So by the time I graduated and was figuring out what I wanted to do, she was just building the team. And it kind of was perfect timing and perfect opportunity. So I think we all started about the same time, but it's been growing rapidly since.
Sure.
That's awesome. What about you, Blair?
So I moved to the lake in 2017 after working and living in St. Louis for a few years. I originally started out actually with Sue Spica at Remax before Jess and Nikki started like an official team. Mm-hmm. And when they moved office buildings, they kind of just asked us to join, and that's really how I got started.
We were across the hall.
And
I was are you coming with us?
I know. I was
what was happening until we were both like packing our offices up. Like, okay.
Did you guys know each other in St. Louis?
No.
Oh, that's crazy.
I met Kelsey, I think, probably the summer before you got your license.
Yeah.
And then that January is when we moved offices. And
wow.
Yeah.
yes, we were really actually friends before we even knew we were going to be working together. So that was
Fast
cool.
friends.
That's really cool. So I'm excited to get your take on today's topic. It's self-respect to conquer your impostor syndrome, meaning self-respect or confidence helps with what you can accomplish. The imposter syndrome comes from doubting your abilities or feeling like a fraud. So what are your first thoughts about just self-respect to conquer your imposter syndrome?
I think a lot of it's faking it till you make it.
Really?
And obviously self-doubt can always creep in, but you just kind of have to roll with it and put on a brave, confident face, and it kind of follows in suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I mean, we were talking last week about it and like what we did when we first started. And it was like, you just have to learn as much as you can, talk to a lot of people, and just be confident really when you say and talk to clients is what it comes down to, I think.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, Blair, because that's kind of where I wanted to go with my next question. Like, what seems to work for the both of you, maybe when you first started and then also like currently, when it comes to like conquering your self-doubt? What is kind of your taker process?
I mean, I would always like to be in the office and just listen to, because Sue's been doing this for like 30 plus years, I think, and Jess 15, maybe 12, 15. So I would just like to be in there and listening to them and how they deal with situations and talk to clients. And really just, I mean, I know we went to every momentum training I think we possibly could when we first started, like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, you even came to some of mine in the recent years. So,
Well, and I think the hardest part, like when you first start, is there's no like task list of what to do. So you kind of, it's easy to feel less confident about what you're supposed to be doing and what you're selling when you just start out. So I think it's important to kind of give yourself like that room to, learn and grow, and you're not going to know what to do in every given situation, but knowing that each day is getting you closer to
your goals.
Your goals.
Yeah. Can you guys share maybe like a personal story about like how you were overcoming a situation with self-doubt, especially probably early on, right?
Yeah, I think I don't even know that I have one particular story, but I know when I first started, what felt like catastrophe at the time that now is like a molehill. Anything that would come up in a transaction, I would call or like run into Nicole or Jess's office. Like, how do I deal with this? Because it would like stop me dead in my tracks. Like, I don't want to lose a deal if this inspection report has 2 things on it. And, you know, I think a lot of it is, you know, trial and error, where you realize that you're kind of really in your head about a bunch of things that can be a lot, you know, smaller than what you make them. So it just comes with, I mean, I had a septic fail the other day, and I was talking to Nicole. I'm like, if this would have happened 3 years ago, I would have been in your office like, please take over, because I don't know what to do at this point. And it's just figuring out that you really are knowledgeable and able to be in control of those situations way probably more than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea.
I agree with that. And then another thing is just like asking questions if you don't know the answer. And we talked about this. What was the movie that you said you liked the quote from?
Like the Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, with, love that movie.
Will Smith, when he's like, you know, I might not always have the right answer, but I promise you that I will get the right answer. I know where to find the right answer. And that's the big thing, is you don't need to be perfect, and striving for perfection's, you know, an impossible feat, but just knowing that we have, be honest with what you do and don't know, and then know confidently you know where to get the answers for what you don't know.
Well, and then transitioning to like just the imposter syndrome definition that we were talking about, you know, sometimes in sales all over, and especially in real estate, I hear newer agents especially that are like, how do I not sound desperate? How do I not come across like fraudulent or different things like that? So how do you guys kind of hold yourself accountable to not fall into that pattern or that mindset of like feeling like a fraud?
I mean, I think it's just about being genuine and then knowing what you're talking about and being confident in it. And then hopefully your clients can see that you're not just, you know, trying to get a deal done, even if you don't think it's the best thing for them. Just honesty. And
I think like Jeff always says, you know, we live in a world of abundance. And again, it's hard for people that are starting out, because it really does come with time when you're not living paycheck to paycheck. But knowing that like your whole life is not riding on one deal, and your clients will feel that, you know, if you're not pressuring them and just being a true, you know, ally for them. So that kind of reads throughout.
Well, and you guys, I'm sure, feel very similar when you get into this industry, and even when you're not really going, and then when you get going, you know, real estate is about fulfilling needs. I mean, it is kind of a unique situation to be able, or a special situation to be able to put somebody, you know, in their first time home or their first investment property or something. So to me, that's like a big piece of it, I think, of just knowing that you're not a fraud because you're able to, you know, like help with these needs. And that to me is, you know, how real estate, I guess, is a little bit different than maybe like a car salesman.
That's how people compare it too. It's like you're a used car salesman, and it's like, that's not the case, really.
Well, and like Blair said, being genuine, like just being honest. I'm not going to tell someone that this is a killer deal that like you're going to regret not, you know, moving forward with, if that's not the case. And I mean, if I'm negotiating a deal with someone, I'm not going to say this is the bottom dollar, like, if it's not. Like, I mean,
well, and you have a fiduciary duty to, like, you know, hold your clients' needs and stuff up here and really service that.
Right. I just think that honesty will prevail through it all. Like, people understand your intentions, and once they look back on a situation and realize, you know,
you had their best interest.
I had their best interest.
For sure. I love that. So what do you do to avoid letting what others are doing, so like competitors, affect you and what you're doing in your business? Because, like, you know, we all do that, right? We're all on like Facebook or social media. We see you know, we're in a company of 112 professionals just in our company alone, and then there's 1,000 other agents, and we're all friends, you know, so I can see how that might be something that would bring doubt.
See, I think the best thing, there's, again, 1,000 agents at the lake. If I see something working for someone, like if it's a lot of billboards or if it's online, you know, certain things that they do to get people to engage online. I mean, what's working for them isn't necessarily like what's going to work for me. And the reason I think I'm successful is because I offer things that no one else is doing, and I kind of want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a copycat. But at the same, like in the same regard, I think iron sharpens iron. So like when I see someone doing something that's really, like eye-catching, I'm like, wow, that's an awesome idea. I think you can make it your own and then turn it, like, it's a positive thing, not necessarily like...
So you kind of like spin it into your own.
I'm not like, dang, they're really going to get a whole lot more business because they did that. I should have thought of it first. It's like, wow, what can I do to make that my own? And, in
put your own twist.
And I think as our team, we really don't try to focus on what everyone else is doing. We just focus on us and what works for us and what we're really good at, and I think we do a good job with that. So.
Well, yeah, $85 million in sales, ladies. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like our fourth year as a team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm
I
so
can't
proud
wait
of you
to
guys.
see what we do this year.
I know, me
It's
too.
exciting.
So
I know.
cool. Okay, what about paralysis by analysis? The inability to decide due to like overthinking a problem. So how do you both overcome this and just like take action? You're like, okay, I want to do this, doing it.
Well, Kelsey, was it a book or a podcast that you listened to?
Yeah, it's like the 5-second rule.
Yeah.
That when you think about doing something, like
count to five and
do it. I'm like the worst person to say, like, I'm very successful with this because I definitely can have anxiety-ridden moments. But I think, 9 out of 10 times, the buildup of the situation is always worse than the task itself. So if it's a hard phone call that you have to make or whatever it may be, just do it and rip the Band-Aid off because, it's always
it's only going to get worse the longer you wait.
Yeah, and the buildup, like, there's so many days where I'll write the same thing on my calendar, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and like Thursday comes, I'm like, okay, I really have to do this today.
Right.
And then I do it. It takes like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've like been
painful.
dreading this. I've been reading it on my calendar for a week, and it's stressing me out. So
your mind can sometimes be like your harshest enemy. It seems like.
And it's back to fake it till you make it. Just like pretend like you're very confident going into it, and then it's over.
I love the 5-second rule. I think that comes from Mel Robbins or something. Yeah. I put my own twist on it. I don't necessarily call it the 5-second rule, but I call it like ripping off the Band-Aid. Like I'm just, let's go, rip it off. Let's do it. So what about you, Blair? Is the same thing?
I just try not to think about it too much, which sometimes that's not the case, but just do it and get it over with. And the outcome usually is not as bad as what you're thinking about in your mind.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition with a couple more questions to self-respect. So how does confidence and self-respect play a role into this? Like, what do you both do to help with your own self-respect, to get closer to your dreams? I know for me personally, it's more of like believing in my own growth every day and like knowing who I am at the end of this day. And then, tomorrow I kind of look back and I'm like, how do I improve from who I was yesterday? Or what one thing can I do that maybe will better myself? That's kind of what I do. I don't know what you guys do.
I think that's pretty similar to how we both are. We try to stay positive. Sometimes you get down, and if you surround yourself with like good people that are also positive and don't, bring you down or anything, that's a big thing to confidence, is just thinking positive. And then I know, what year was it that we read The Secret? It's a book, and we were like obsessed with it.
That's
so
a good one.
We always go back to that, and we're like, no, it's going to happen. This is good. And so
that
was
was like our last year of, which, we could chalk it all up to manifesting because we had such a great year, but we just said, like, instead of coming out of a listing appointment, knowing they're interviewing other people, you want to kind of lower your expectations to save yourself any possible disappointment. But we stopped doing that, and we'd like come out of listing appointments and I'd be like, I got that listing.
Yeah.
Like,
instead of saying like,
it's going active. Like, I just rocked that, and then we'd get it. Like, and I think that really does affect how successful you are, is the positive mindset, and just
and like replacing the word hope with like, you're going to do it. Like, instead of I hope I can do this, it's like, no, I'm going to do that.
And like the trick with manifesting is like, you have to just like picture yourself in it, like in that life that you're striving for, is like be that person, and then you will be that person.
I really do like that. I like a lot of what you guys said, especially with you, Blair, about, changing those like limited beliefs into unlimited, where like I hope to, I can, or I will, or I'm going to.
Yeah.
That is a huge part, I think, of mindset. And it takes a lot of time every day. I mean, you have to work on it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to change the way you think, ultimately.
Yeah. And it's still a fake it
Yeah,
to make
you
it sometimes
still-
where I'm like, I'll walk out of something, I'm like, I got it. I know I got it. But, I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think the hard part with real estate, it's such a roller coaster. So, like, in those dips, it's like, how do you remain positive? But there's always something to do. Is it Wayne, I think, is the one that's, like, said you only need, like, 15 minutes a day to do anything. So I'm like, okay.
The power of
I don't
15.
actually need to be busy all day to feel like I'm doing something. Like, I'll write a note to one person that I met out.
Yeah.
Like, and it just giving yourself a little bit more of that grace period to
Like breathing room.
You don't need to be like at 5 showings every day to feel like you're killing it.
I love that you brought up that rule, though, because I tried to apply that rule when I first heard it at one of his last presentations that he did. And you will be surprised at how much you can get done in 15 minutes if you, like, hold yourself accountable to that.
Yeah, and you feel so much better and accomplished. Like, I could spend 3 hours in the office and accomplish less than I do if I just sit down and write 5 notes.
Right. Okay, how do you overcome what other people think of you? Negative comments.
Oh, I really just try not to pay attention to it.
Does anyone think negatively about me? What do you mean?
I mean, I haven't heard anything, but I'm sure coming up through, the years and stuff, we've all been faced with just maybe harshness or doubt from other people. Like, why did you get into real estate?
Yeah.
Kind of mindset.
And I just think that takes time too. Like, I mean, 10 years ago, I would have been paralyzed by the fact that I thought someone thought negatively of me, but now I'm just let it roll off my back because it really doesn't say anything about me. It's just what they think.
Right.
So,
and I think that we always imagine that people think more about us than they do. Really, you care more about yourself than anyone else does.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it also helps our environment. Like, we've got such different levels of, experience surrounding us. So why would I compare myself to someone who's been here for 40 years. I think that
that's a disservice.
It's not apples to apples there. So, like, there's nothing that I, like, really feel, like, knocks my self-esteem down when it comes to that. Because even Blair and I, who started the same year, I'm like, well, she was 6 months before me, so.
Yeah, there is some timing there.
There's just way more that goes into it, and I don't let that hinder my confidence that way.
Yeah, well, and I tell a lot of new people that I deal with every day kind of my own mantra, which is, like, I honestly don't have time to listen to it. Like, if you're busy enough and you're doing all the right things, like, you don't even know that it's happening because you're too busy.
Yeah.
So.
And thankfully, I mean, I hope no one's thinking negatively of us, but we're focused on us and working hard, so.
Any publicity is good
publicity.
Right?
Okay, just a few more. So what would be some advice to our listeners personally or professionally with just holding more respect for themselves or overcoming their self-doubt or fear?
My advice is, if you figure it out, let me know. I mean, really, it is just, confidence is such a fake it till you make it thing. Like, you just have to start faking it, and then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I actually feel that way. Yeah. I mean, with anything that happens, if it's a real estate deal or just, anything. I don't know.
And what you said earlier, like, you're not perfect. You don't need to try and act like you are or anything like that. So,
like,
give yourself grace, be positive, and it'll all work out, right?
You might as well take that perfect and just chuck it because it's, it's unrealistic.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do, like, if you're feeling, if you're not confident about how successful you're doing with work, it's not about, like, figuring out how to, like, sell another house. You really should focus on your mindset, because that's the game changer. The, success feeling isn't going to come from getting 5 or 10 more deals. It's going to come from you just realizing that you're growing and
Yeah.
doing it on your own.
I love it. Well, I just have a couple more, just slightly getting back to you guys personally questions. One being, like, what is your favorite thing or favorite aspect about Lake of the Ozarks here?
There's
Oh,
so much. I only have to pick one. I
my
can't just pick one. I mean, we live in a place that people come vacation at, and we get to enjoy the lake every day, go boating on the Tuesday night if we want, to dinner. I mean, it's my favorite place.
I think my favorite is just like the wide variety of people you meet and ages. Like I was talking to my friends from college. We did like a girls trip, and I was like referencing like going out to dinner with my friend Tom. Who's,
Yeah.
like almost 70 years old, and they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, there's just really not like an age discrepancy at the lake because his boat was parked next to ours. So like then we became friends. Like there's just, you meet people of all different accolades, like because no one cares like how old you are, how much money you have. Like you clearly are, you know, a laid back kind of person if you're on the lake. So
It's kind of a uniqueness.
it's, you find that common ground, and that's all people care about. It's not like anything.
And I
more
think like
defined than that.
it's just easy living here too, and like everyone's nice. I mean, I rarely run into anyone in a bad mood, but
also
for the
property
most
taxes,
part,
that's my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah,
yeah,
property
that's another good one. Kelsey just found out about that. She just bought her house
Yes,
last year.
I just
Congratulations.
paid my property taxes for the first time. Wow.
And you were like,
That was a breeze. Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so next and final question. What is something that no one really knows about you?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I'll give you a minute to think about it.
Well, after college, I lived in Thailand for 3 months.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
That is cool.
That's what I call my quarter life crisis.
I get that.
I graduated and did not know what I wanted to do. That was before Nikki gave me the job offer. So
Yeah, how was
I was
Thailand
really holding
though?
out for that. It was awesome. I booked a one-way ticket, and it was definitely an experience. I ended up finding this elephant rehabilitation camp in the hill tribes out of Chiang Mai, and stayed there for a month. Like, did not plan because I had been going city to city, and I ended up staying there for a little over a month and working with like rehabilitated elephants who had been rescued from camps. And it was
Those
super
photos
cool.
are so cute too.
I mean,
we'll have to send you one. of
Yes,
them.
please do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, it's like the coolest thing, and I could talk forever about that. But like, just, and they were gathering research that they were submitting to like, you know, publishers to like science publishing kind of documents, and like recording stuff like elephants sleep only 4 hours of the 20 or eat. Sorry, not sleep.
Oh, I was like, what?
20 of the 24 hours of the day, and the other 4 hours they're sleeping.
Oh,
so
wow.
like anytime you see an elephant, as cute as the videos might be, like playing with a ball or like drawing a picture, they're very smart, but that they were tortured to be trained to do that. So
yeah.
don't partake in those
Yeah.
activities.
Don't like the video.
Don't like the video. Don't ride elephants.
What a really cool experience.
It was
though.
very cool.
That's something I did not know about you. That's amazing.
Yes.
All right, Blair, what's yours?
Oh, I don't have anything really interesting. I mean, I think everyone knows by now that my last career was nursing. So I moved here and left my nursing job
had
in
no
St. Louis,
idea.
to sell real estate. And I will never go, not looking back, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
But-
you just had your anniversary too, so
I
happy
did.
anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, yes. Actually, Wednesday. Today's
Yeah.
Friday.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yep.
We need another party.
I know. That was the most fun day ever. And it was at Old Kinderhook, and it snowed. So it was really fun.
So just to clarify, if I'm having like, you know, a bad day of stress and I need my vitals checked, I can come to you.
Yes, you can
okay?
come over. I can do that for
Blair,
you.
Blair bought herself, what is it, an O2? For
A
like,
pulse ox monitor for my finger 2020. Just,
Yeah.
to have at the house, just to monitor everything.
That's amazing.
But
you don't need to go to Lake Regional. Just
I actually let one of my friends use it last week, too, because he was sick. So
Oh, wow.
still kind of got it.
she can
but
help with all of your needs: real estate, medical.
So cool.
Just don't, fall off a deck while we're,
Yeah.
showing you
Yeah.
a house and break your leg, because I don't know what I would do in that situation. But
Right.
everything else we can handle.
Well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more thankful to Kelsey and Blair for bringing their experiences and story here and sharing it with us. You can connect with Kelsey. Kelsey, where can they connect with you at?
Anywhere. Send a smoke signal and I'll find it. But all my socials are just my name. So
Okay,
Kelsey Fairchild.
Okay, what about you, Blair?
Mine is my name as well. Or I do have like a work Instagram page if you want to follow that. It's just Lake Ozark Real Estate. And then our team has one too. It's O'Sullivan Bruce Group.
Do you also respond to smoke signals?
I do if needed, yes. Kelsey might beat me there because she drives a little faster, but I will get there eventually.
That is awesome. Well, remember that you have the power and so much more to give this world. Try to remain focused on your purpose and your own self-respect to reach your dreams. Never, ever, ever give up. We have more of seasons coming at you. We're going to have 5, 6, 7, and they're just going to continue to rock and roll. So be sure to keep checking our Facebook platform and all of our other platforms for new and upcoming episodes. We are already starting to work on them, and we couldn't be more excited. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire, and we'll catch you next time.